Sam Logue here for irishboxing.com. Delighted to be joined by Colm Murphy today in the GLEANN Boxing Club. Am I saying that right? I still can't get it down.
We sometimes call it GLEANN Republic of Strength. So, there's a few names. And, apparently the name might be getting changed. So,
yeah, there's definitely a few names anyway. Few pronunciations. It's great to meet you too, Colm.
Yeah. Long day we've had.
Yeah, long day, but a good day. Great to be here. Obviously, had the pleasure of seeing all the different the sparring and all the different guys in. Interesting, right? Really interesting, like Doghouse Fridays, as you guys call it here. All the different weight classes. I mean, you're going to fight at featherweight, I believe. Featherweight. I mean, you've got Conor Quinn, who's like a flyweight. Then you've got Paddy and Owen, who are obviously super light middleweights. I mean, all sparring each other. What do you take from that? It sounds like it might be a bit bizarre to people that really light guys are sparring the really heavy guys, but you're getting in there, you're doing your work. What do you take from not just sparring guys who are like world level super middleweights like Paddy McCrory, but also guys who are like way heavier than you and all different weight classes in the same kind of sparring session? What do you take from that?
Well, yeah, obviously, Paddy, Lewis, even Carl, we've all been around. Conor Quinn, all been around. We've seen a lot. Loads of us have amateur pedigree and sort of like that. But obviously, when you have knockout artists like Paddy and Lewis, who I'm in training with, and one bad slip up, they'll never go 100% on me or look to knock me out. But I'm super alert, and D was there. My head position and head movements off the charts. There's no stupid. Defense is good.
Yeah. So do you take a lot, what do you get from when you're sparring all those different weights and styles of fighters in the same in the same sparring session? Is it about adaptability? Is it about kind of adapting in the moment? Is that what you're practicing there in that kind of session?
Yeah, well, it's adaptability to your opponent's styles and the different type of styles you bring. Paddy's obviously very big middleweight, and then Conor Quinn very fast. Exactly. Stuff like that. So you got to play to your own strengths too, and that's what D does a lot of us. If something doesn't work for one individual, he'll work on their own game more. So we're all looking to put our own game down in there, and that's what it is. Putting my game plan into place with these people. You're also very intelligent boxing wise because D has taught them how to do that too. Put a game plan in place.
100%, yeah. So you're kind of having to adapt not just to what they're doing, but also adapt what you're doing to different guys, right?
Yeah, and we do it pretty well because, people are going in and we know beforehand sometimes what our stablemates are going to do before their fights, and then they go in and do it and knock someone out, and it's just like everything we work for, it works. And I can't wait to show it myself because I've only had one thing. I've had a few things fall through, but I'm going to show people that I'm a different machine now.
Class. You're 1-0 as a pro. You're working with Mark Dunlop, I believe, right? Been probably difficult, right? You got out once, but you probably wanted to be a lot busier than you've been able to be. What's the plan now for 2022? How busy would you like to be? And are there plans in place to get you out regularly and to try and step up the levels nice and steadily?
I leave all that up to Mark. Obviously, I had a few disappointments, and that's just the pro game, unfortunately. That's what was it doing, signing a pro contract, going to get a rainbow trail journey, so those things happened. I'm a hard trainer. I love training. That's never going to change. I don't need a fight to train. Some people do. They need to go like that. I just always want to train, and I know now that if you're going to train this hard, you go in there and you fight to win. And so with all this training I've been doing, and the longer that these get delayed, I'm just going to be hungry and I'm going to go in and someone's going to get hurt.
Yeah. Well, you can see the kind of intensity in your demeanor, like that. The training is the longer you're out of the ring, the more it means, and when you get in there, you're really going to prove and show what you're able to do and what all the training is there for, right?
Yeah, because that's what I used to be like in my amateur days. Obviously, back then there was weight cut issues, which were a bit harder then. Yeah. But I would train, and it was like I'd be not scared to fight, but I'd rather have just got on with my own training. Yeah. Now I know I'm in here and I'm going to box like this, Dee's showing me the way to box because he's picked up years of knowledge and he's passing on to me. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to have a successful career. Dee's, and I really have not been hurt since I've been up with Dee. I'd actually say he's already saved me years of my life because this boxing game, it's no joke. And the way I was getting on, I could have got hurt.
Wow. Okay. And I wanted to touch on kind of working with Dee and what has he done to? So how has he helped you to develop? How has he changed your style? But yeah, you're saying already he's obviously the way he's teaching you is to avoid punishment and to be able to get your game plan on so that you're not taking punishment. Yeah, like touch on that for me. How much of an influence has Dee been? How good a coach is Dee? How much has he brought you on since you've been with him?
Yeah. Well, this is boxing, and I was more of a fighter. I was going in, I was scrapping, you know. I had this mad fitness, which I could use on my opponents, and I just break them down. But with that came the cost. I was just always getting into wars and like taking punishment. Now, Dee has, and also I was awkward. I was very awkward. No one really boxes like me. I'm an awkward character, and I think people might have thought Dee would try and like tidy me up, which he has, but really we have just made me even more awkward, because that's what Dee does, plays to my strength. I'm an awkward boxer. I'm now a lot more awkward, and I'm not getting hit, so I'm loving life, like.
That's class, yeah.
My mum's loving life, I'll tell you that too.
I'd say everyone around you is like breathing a sigh of relief that you're not standing there getting punched as much, which is the name of the game, isn't it? Like hit and not get hit. All the best fighters, Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather, they all preach it, don't they? Hit and don't get hit. Muhammad Ali, that's the trick, isn't it? But yeah, like what has Dee? Well, I suppose you kind of answered me there. Like he's taken what you're good at and just kind of developed you with that in mind, rather than trying to change your style, which must be really refreshing, because a lot of guys would you'd come into a gym and they'd try to make you do what they do, you know what I mean, what they do with everyone. How special is Dee Walsh as a trainer? Do you think he's like one of the best around at the moment?
Yeah, in Belfast, even all of Ireland, I think Dee is the best, and anyone who doubts that, they should go up here and they train. But you know, unlucky that he's not your coach, because we're in here and it's just the atmosphere too, the crowd, and you just got to listen to Dee, really, because he is obsessed with boxing. He probably goes home, just watches all the boxing fights, and that's what he's got me doing now too, watching people my weight and stuff. And that's it. Just sit down, listen to Dee and what he has to say, and let him talk about boxing, and don't have your own answer getting ready to shout at him, because just listen.
Yeah.
Just take everything on board.
Yeah, definitely the right attitude to have. When your coach and someone who you obviously trust and believe in, as we can tell from talking to each other right now, when someone like Dee says he thinks you can be a world champion, what kind of effect does that have on you mentally? I mean, that must be a massive boost and a massive confidence booster to hear that, right?
Yeah, at first when I heard that, I really couldn't believe what I was hearing. When I first turned over pro and all, like I've always did have doubts with myself, which still probably do a wee bit. But after he said that, I started to really think. Because before that, I was just like, oh, you know, I'll have good memories, I'll put on good fights, and you know, I'll do things my way. But now I'm really starting to believe that, like, at least I'm aiming for major titles, but I think I can go all the way in world-wise. I'm 22 years old. I've got easy 15 years of this in me if I wanted to, and the level of fitness I'm already at, like, I think I could be scary in 10 years. Yeah. Like, really world champ, like, I'm aiming for now. Yeah.
That's class. That's brilliant, man. And you have to have that, don't you? You have to have that belief that you can actually go all the way if you want to get anywhere at all. So how fast do you want to move then? You're 22, so you're young, but you seem to be really fit, which means that you could probably do like 8 rounders probably already. How fast do you want to move? Would you look to kind of push for an Irish title in the next year and a half? Like, how fast do you want to move through the ranks?
Well, no step backs. I'm a 6-round fighter already, so keep throwing me 6 rounders. I'd take an 8 rounder, no sweat, like, for a title, like. So yeah, I can't really tell you much now. I'm a fighter. I leave things. I've got a really good supportive family, and Mark, manager. I leave that to them. They've got a blueprint plan in place for me, which I just have to follow and see if I trust it. And I don't like use my own ego to, like, say, throw in the towel, for example, down the line. I'll go all the way, because I just got to keep the trust in that, and I'm going to be world champ. Yeah,
definitely. So you don't think you don't have your own opinion on, like, how fast you'd like to get to a certain level, or you don't have kind of in your head, like, I'd like to, by 10 fights, I'd like to be fighting for a European title or something like that. Is there any kind of your own feeling of, like, I know I'm good enough, or I feel like I can be at a certain level by this many fights or whatever, you know, all going well, of course? Or is it just purely like, look, I just don't even think about that, I just let Mark manage that?
Yeah, I think I'm a special consideration, because I'm 22, and literally we can play the slow game with this if we wanted to. Yeah. We could play the fast game either too. We just got to see how this road goes on, because this is professional boxing. It's a dirty game. I know there could be a few hiccups on the road. Yeah. You know, like, to be honest, I'm not looking to have a padded record either. Yeah. The last opponent on the show that got cancelled, because the guy got COVID or something, he couldn't make it. He wasn't a journeyman. It was going to be. It wasn't. I would say I would have been favourite, but the guy was going to come to win. Like, even the guy I first fought, Campbell Hatton, fought him in his third fight, and then he's went on even after he fought me. He fought like 4 prospects, like really good ones. So he was no mug either, and he was coming to win too. And I gave him no opportunity to win.
Brilliant. You seem so motivated, and you can sense that kind of belief that you have in yourself that you're going to go all the way.
That'll be good too. We sold over 100 tickets. I think it was about 120 before last fight, and then it got cancelled 10 days before, and like there was already people looking tickets off me. So I'm a big ticket seller. I have that going for me, and that goes about too to other promotions. So told you there were opportunities sprouting up like a leaf.
That's exactly. You just sparked that thought in my head. That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Is the goal to try and get signed by a big name promoter? Is that something that you'd like? It's a part of the sport.
Promotions have already been looking to sign me.
Really?
Yeah, but I know what my own worth. So.
Okay, so you're holding out for the right deal for you?
Yep, right deal for me. It was a good deal too. I can't say nothing private business, but you know.
Yeah, 100%. We wouldn't ask you to say anything on the camera, but it's amazing. That's great to hear. So obviously, people are seeing your abilities and your talent straight away. You're not having to kind of wait to be found. People are already aware of you, which is amazing.
Yeah, I'm very lucky in that approach. I was obviously going to Dubai that time. I've got some very good connections over there still, and I'll definitely be fighting back out in Dubai sometimes, and can sell tickets out there, so that'll be lucrative too. Looking forward to that in the future.
That's it. I remember your friends now when you're making a few quid, yeah?
We need interviews on the stadium,
That's it. Exclusives over here, with irishboxing.com. But look, Colm, that's amazing. It's great to chat to you today. We're going to leave it there. But it was a pleasure. Pleasure to meet you. And
violent gentleman, if anyone likes this hoodie.
There you go. Fight camp, Posh Boy Murphy with Violent Gentleman. Okay.
Thank you.